What's up, everybody? Welcome to Heresy Financial. My name is Joe Brown, and today I bring you some unlikely but still potentially very exciting news. A bill was just introduced to Congress that, if passed, would repeal taxes, capital gains taxes, on specific sales of gold and silver, and potentially other metals as well. And so we are going to take a look at, number one, if this passes in its current form, what does that mean for you? And number two, the best part, we are going to look at, even if this doesn't pass, the ways that you today can invest in gold and silver tax-free. Ready? Let's dive in. Now, I know what you're thinking. Before we even start, this basically has the chance of going over like a lead balloon. But as Mythbusters proved, lead balloons are possible. So, there's a chance. Probably not very likely, but this bill proposes to eliminate capital gains taxes on gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, coins or bars that are created or minted or refined specifically for the purpose of storing that metal. It would not include things like collectors or numismatic coins, things that get their value from something other than just the metal that makes them up. This is in sharp contrast to the way the IRS currently classifies gold and silver, which is primarily going to be one of two ways. If it's coins, a lot of times they're going to be classified as collectible items, and usually bars are going to be categorized as capital assets. That means that if you happen to swap out your gold and silver for paper currency, they're going to slap you with a tax if you are able to get more currency units, more paper dollars, than you had to give in order to get that metal in the first place. Now, the reason why this is actually preposterous is simply because under the US Constitution, gold and silver are legal tender. Gold and silver are money. Now, Peter Schiff, in a recent article on his blog, on his website, recently said this is similar to the fact that we're taxed on gold and silver is similar to if you went to a grocery store, you gave them a $5 bill and asked to exchange that and break it and give you some coins. And then when they did that, they charged you a tax. All you're doing is swapping one form of money for another. That'd be kind of preposterous to be taxed on that. Well, gold and silver are a form of money, and arguably they are actual money, especially given what the US Constitution says. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably looking at this and thinking, hey, the chances of this actually making it through, especially in its current form, are close to zero. So I'm not going to concern myself with this. However, it highlights the importance of seeking ways to cut down on your taxes, especially when investing in something like gold or silver, because for most of human history, the primary way that gold and silver appreciate in price is not from value appreciation, but mostly just due to inflation. And so then if you get taxed on that appreciation, if you have a capital gains tax when you sell that, you're quite literally transforming inflation into a tax on yourself. You're losing purchasing power because the gain in price was just making up for the loss of purchasing power in the dollar. Now, luckily, even if this doesn't pass, there are a couple of ways that you can invest in gold and silver tax-free already. Now, the first one is going to be the most obvious here. Just don't sell it. If you never sell, you never have a realized capital gain for the IRS to tax you on. And if you want to access some of that capital, there are services where you can store some of your gold with them, and that gold will act as collateral for a loan that you can take out with a very low interest rate because it's collateralized by the gold that you store with them. So you can access some of that purchasing power with debt, which is tax-free, pay a small interest rate, and you never have to have a capital gains tax on selling your metals. So that's number one, just don't sell it. Number two, I will refer you to your tax professional here. I'm not a CPA, so I will refer you to your tax professional here, but there are very convoluted and opaque rules on what kind of sales and what kind of coins and bars will trigger tax reporting. Let me say that again very clearly here. Depending on how you pay for and how you receive payment for gold and silver and what kind of gold and silver it is, whether it's coins or bars, and the total amount changes whether that transaction is reportable to the IRS. If you want an in-depth guide on this, Peter Schiff actually has a pretty good guide on this. I'll put a link to his guide in the description below, and that is all I will say about that at this point. And finally, the third way to invest in gold and silver tax-free, you guessed it, an IRA. Now, most IRAs that allow you to invest in gold and silver are number one, they're going to be telling you, you're going to be buying like, a GLD or SLV. And so that's not what I'm saying here. I'm not saying open up an IRA and get a gold ETF. I'm saying physical gold and silver here, and there are self-directed IRAs, alternative asset IRAs, that allow you to invest in physical gold and or silver. The problem is most of these are, number one, very expensive, and number two, very difficult. Like they're operating like it's still 1985. You have to fill out actual paperwork, and there's you have to fax and all of that, and it's garbage. It's a mess. Now, personally, I use a company called iTrustCapital. Same thing. You invest in physical gold, physical silver. It's a self-directed IRA. The reason I use them is because, number one, it's very inexpensive. It's $30 a month. Number two, it's all online. It's all electronic. They don't have any physical paperwork, and so it's extremely easy to use them. They got a fantastic user interface. And bonus, they allow you to invest in cryptocurrencies if you want to touch that as well. And as a bonus, if you use my link in the description below, you get your first month free. So in summary, I really hope that this passes. I think it would be fantastic. It's a great step in the right direction. Many states have already passed this so that there are no capital gains taxes on the sales of precious metals at the state level. So this is a step in the right direction. What are the chances it's going to pass? Probably close to zero. But even if it doesn't, there's already some great ways in place to invest in gold and silver tax-free. Namely, just don't sell, study the reporting rules, and do it through an IRA, because as we know, IRAs shield anything that happens inside of them, especially a Roth IRA is great for this, from capital gains taxes. And I use iTrustCapital. Again, if you use my link in the description below, you will get your first month free. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.